Hello everyone and welcome to Minneapolis. We're coming to you live as we close out day 2 of the Pro Tour, but still the Silver Showcase semi-finals to come here on Super Saturday. That took a bit of a mouthful. Rich Hagan alongside Maria Bartholdi and Paul Cheon here. And we're going to take a breath before we get into all our accolades of the day. Let's just talk about the shape of the day because, Maria, we saw 7 more rounds of constructed, but it was constructed like we really haven't seen before at a Pro Tour.
I mean, it's wonderful to see this team Pro Tour. The players absolutely love it, Rich. The camaraderie out there on the floor, you can feel it when it all comes down to one match and they've got their teammates watching over their shoulders and just a sigh of relief and a smile and high fives when they win. It's fabulous to feel that energy here in the building.
Right, and Paul, there are so many stories that we try to tell. There are so many more that if we had more time we could tell, and there are so many hugs out there on the floor as someone gets to 9-5 or 10-4. It locks silver or gold or platinum for players, and just so much at stake away from the top 4 tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing like a team tournament. You know, the highs are higher than you'll ever feel, and the lows are also lower than you'll ever feel. But at the end of the day, whenever you do have that success with the team and you make it into that top 4, it just feels so good. Or when you work as a team, trying to figure out how to win that Game 3 of the deciding match, it just feels so much better when you can like work as a team to get there. And I mean, you really saw it there. I mean, just like
sweating every decision.
Yeah, I even saw Raptor, you know, a little bit of the feels there. And you know, this is a guy who's made it to the top 8 multiple times over and over again. But I feel like this one's a little, you know, extra special.
Okay. We have to have a card of the day, and usually we only have one format to find it in, or limited versus constructed. But here, Legacy, Modern, Standard. I think one of the highlights of today, and you were in the booth for all of this, Paul, was Mattia Rizzi. Right? The guy would not lose. Just phenomenal. So I'm hoping that the card of the day you've picked reflects at least some small measure of reward for the deliciousness that Mattia Rizzi gave us today.
I was having a blast doing coverage today. Anytime somebody's playing a control deck, I can go on and on and on about all the different lines. And there were a lot of very important cards that he played. You know, he's played Teferi, which is now kind of an all-star in a lot of different formats. But the card I'm going to go with, and I'm not going to lie here, I thought going in, I didn't think I would ever have this be the card of the day for a Modern tournament because oftentimes it was just too slow. But
it's slow.
But he did so much with it. Card of the day today, Cryptic Command.
Woo! Oh yes.
Man. I mean, he just showed all the different tricks you could do with this. He used Cryptic Command to buy time, tap your opponent's team down, draw a card. He used Cryptic Command to bounce Ether Vials to make sure that Hao Shan-Huang couldn't, you know, violate creatures at any given point. He used Cryptic Command to bounce his own counter spells and bounce his own Snapcaster Mage. This card is just so much utility, and this is also the time when this card is so powerful, I was able to win tournaments back in the day with this card. I'm so glad that this is a card that's very relevant, even in a format as fast as Modern.
All right, so Team Series is where we're going to head next. Now, lots of numbers still to be crunched, but the one certainty is that, well, our team of the day is going to be seen again at the Team Series Championship. Here's Brian David Marshall.
Thanks, Rich. I did an interview earlier today with Carlos Ramao, and Carlos said, I would trade a top 4 at this Pro Tour to get my entire team into the finals of the Pro Tour Team Series and get all of these guys playing at the World Championship alongside me. He gets both. He gets both. He got to the top 4, did an amazing dance for us there in the feature match area. And with them finishing right now, who knows where they could go. They could still win. But also you have Esper Bertu, Luis Salvato, and Sebastian Pazzo in 6th place. You know, this has been just an amazing year, an amazing 2 years for this How Are You Latin team, Marcio Carvalho, Carlos Ramao, and of course, you know, the Pro Tour champion already, I'm sorry, getting my teams confused, Carvalho, Saporito, and Ramao here in the top 4. This is a 3rd top 8 for Saporito. You know, Ramao, again, another top 8, and Marcio Carvalho, you know, his numbers are just mounting here, and he's just been really an amazing thing. We're going to see them at the World Championship. Now, the question is, who are they going to be playing against? Ultimate Guard, can they cling to their lead? They're not getting any bonus points from anyone right now. And Channel Fireball, you know what? Luis Scott Vargas finished X-5 after starting 0-4. There's some extra points there. And the other half of their team could still win this entire Pro Tour. That's 60 Pro points. That's going to be huge for that team. And there is some chance that Ultimate Guard, who seemed like they had an unassailable lead, could miss out on the Pro Tour Team Series. But in the meantime, we do know that How Are You Latin will be there, and they will be dancing as they open up their cards to see if they can win the second Pro Tour Team Series.
Thanks so much, BDM. Well, the room is still buzzing here after that top 4 announcement, and Riley is in the place where it all took place to give us our match of the day.
Thanks very much. Well, I tell you what, another big day in the feature match area here for day 2 of Pro Tour 25th anniversary. But our match of the day, round number 12, between two teams ultimately not making the top 4, but still an electrifying match between two titans of Magic. Mattia Rizzi and Haoxuan Huang playing Modern saw one of the most incredible games unfold across the full 60 minutes of the round. Mattia Rizzi on blue-white control facing off against the 5-color humans of Haoxuan Huang. We saw an incredibly drawn-out game 2 with a very improbable end, but it was game number 3 between these two players where things really were taken to the next level. The whole match lasted an incredibly long amount of time. It was a marathon, and they fell over the finish line with the game resolved on turn 5 of extra turns. It is must-see viewing, ladies and gentlemen. Our match of the day here at Pro Tour 25th anniversary, round number 12 of day 2.
Fantastic stuff. Thanks very much to Riley Knight there, holding down the fort in the feature match area. We talked about this idea that there are so many stories that we can't tell, and it's so hard to just see quite what each match win means. As we were trying to follow the team series through, it became clear that one of the biggest events of this whole tournament was when Luis Scott Vargas, Paulo Vitor, Dama de Rosa, Mike Sigrist lost their first round, then lost their second round, then lost their third round, then were thinking about flying to Gen Con at 0-4 because they were basically done, right? They were just completely stuffed. But what we have seen, Paul, and you know this better than most because you know them very well, is that especially if you're going to be playing at 0-4, you're probably quite a bit better than most of the people you play against the rest of the way.
Right. Yeah, it got to the point where I saw Luis play against some of the more unique decks that we've seen, decks that's not super popular, and he was just kind of looking at me and he was like, if we're gonna lose to this, yeah, maybe we should be dropping. So he was just like, all right, back against the wall. But the thing is, this is also a team event. You have to keep racking up wins for the teams because Josh and Layton's team, they were undefeated. So if they make the top 4 and win the entire tournament, the wins that LSV and his team racks up is super, super important. And actually, I believe they lost their last round. There was a lot of disappointment because had they won, that had lots of implications with the race.
Right. But the way the math looks like it's working out, it's starting to look like a win tomorrow of the whole thing for Utter Layton, Stark, and User, just 3 Hall of Famers, could put Channel Fireball into the Team Series Championship. Someone who has a really vested interest in this is on our trio of the day. Here's BDM again.
Thanks, Rich. I'm here with Luis Scott Vargas, the official spokesperson for our trio of the day. Now, you're going to have an interesting seat tomorrow. You're not in the top 4, so that means you'll be covering the top 4 with us. And this is going to be quite a sweat as you watch our trio of the day, Martin Uza, Ben Stark, and Josh Utter Layton.
An unconventional choice for trio of the day, but we'll roll with it. Yeah, it's going to be a big sweat. I mean, I'm going to deliver the most unbiased commentary I can while desperately wanting them to win, because it looks like a win from them gives us a final shot for the team series. I think we might have actually locked it up had my squad won our last round, but we didn't.
Yeah, you did a lot of not losing in between the losing yesterday and the losing today.
Yeah, we started 0-3. We won 3 in a row, closed out the last round yesterday with a loss, putting us at 3-4. Rattled off 6 in a row, lost our last round. So it was a good run, going 9-5 after starting 0-3. you can't ask for a whole lot more.
Picking up extra pro points after starting 0-3 is pretty spectacular.
Yeah, and each round matters so much because it's multiplied by 3 for the team series here.
Yeah. Now, the trio of the day, of course, these guys are really all Hall of Famers already, but starting to really put up those gaudy numbers, getting into that really rare era. It's very rare to see someone get to 5 Pro Tour top 8s anymore, but once you see multiple people getting to 6, talk about just how amazing and consistent these guys have been. I know, these are people you've been playing with and have known for a long time.
Yeah, all 3 of these players are excellent. We had, a kind of interesting preparation coming into the Pro Tour because you're kind of sequestered into your own format, and you don't really talk to your teammates from the Pro Tour. You talk to your teammates of your teammates, basically, because those are the people playing the same formats. But these guys are all very well practiced with their decks. Martin Yuza played red-black, played it excellently. He had a great record. Josh Utter-Layton, played this Death Shadow deck in Legacy that had a fantastic record.
Can we
among all
talk
the
about
pilots.
this deck?
Oh, of course.
I mean, this is one of the things, Josh got into the Hall of Fame. Obviously, his resume was there, but also the deck building was a big part of it for a lot of people. And this is a great example. How hard is it to make a dent in the Legacy metagame like he's done here?
Yeah, so what ended up happening with this deck is we saw a Grixis Death Shadow deck played at one of the Star City Opens. It was I can't remember who played it exactly, but we saw that, and me and Andrew Beckstrom started working on blue-black, and then we thought it was okay, and then Josh had just the genius idea of adding Reanimate. The card Reanimate is really what kind of dialed it up to 11, and this deck ended up being a really good choice for the metagame. Our overall record with the deck's very good, and Josh did a lot of carrying of his team.
Yeah, snuffed out a lot of opposing teams along the way.
Oh, yeah.
And then here he is. And then what would it mean? Josh is pretty taciturn. What would it mean for him to finally get that Pro Tour victory? Also, Martin getting that Pro Tour victory. Ben, they were all
not only does Ben already have a Pro Tour victory, it wouldn't mean as much to him because that's just not how Ben operates. So we'll talk about the other 2 guys, and I think they would be extremely happy. The other thing they get to do is they get to carry us to the Team Series Finals if they win, presumably, and that means a lot too. Being on either end of that is really special, and knowing you can win and help your teammates who have been eliminated from the tournament is a really special thing, and that means a ton.
That's what really makes these Team Pro Tours so unique. The individual teams getting to, Ben Stark kind of helpless in the finals there as he got rest in peace, or no, he got Stony Silence on turn 2, but his teammates pulled it out for him. Now you guys are sitting here and you're hoping these guys can pull you along. So it's just been a great event here. Thank you so much, official spokesman, for our trio of the day.
And so we bring to the close the Swiss rounds of Pro Tour 25th anniversary. Tomorrow, 4 squads of 3 epically good players at Legacy and Modern and Standard will be back to do battle for their share of the final day of $1 Million Magic Weekend. But this evening, because the magic just doesn't stop, it's going to be the Silver Showcase and the semi-finals. You're going to see Jason Chan, Amaz, against Palavita Damarosa. You're going to see the greatest Magic player of all time, John Finkel, in action against Stanislav Sivka. And that's all coming up after these very short messages.